Hello, my name is Jackson Pugh. I am the lead investigator for the Joint Terrorism Task Force Supervisor investigating the WMATA events. The purpose of this briefing is to inform intelligence community and law enforcement community of the events that are unfolding following the attacks. Recent studies have showed that there is an increased scrutiny and the ability for the intelligence and law enforcement communities to safeguard our nation's people. Our recent study has showed that 85% of Americans believe that they will be affected by terrorism in the next oncoming weeks. In order to combat this situation and calm public fears, the Joint Terrorism Task Force intends to have a media conference and a press conference, and we will answer questions as to what's going on, and we will do everything in our power to ease public fears. We will also be implementing a communication plan where this communication plan will develop a strategy to calm the media and calm our public fears and to ease tensions within our nations. There has currently been a threat against the Jewish community of the Washington metropolitan area. Although we do receive these threats often against certain segments of our population, we are taking this threat seriously. In a show of solidarity and a way to show that the Jewish community will not be affected by such threats, they intend to host a march on our nation's capital. This march will start in the West End area of Washington, D.C., and it will follow the route and make brief stops at the World Bank, the IMF building, the Department of State building, and ending at the Lincoln Memorial. As a way to ensure that this is a peaceful march without any attacks or any threats from radical extremism. The Joint Terrorism Task Force intends to increase its law enforcement presence and a interagency cooperation with federal, local, state, and federal employees. This interagency cooperation will show an increase in uniformed law enforcement officials as well as plainclothes officials that will be undercover during the march to look for suspicious activity. We will also extend perimeters around these brief stops where they intend to, and we will have metal detection and canine dogs and handlers at these locations to detect explosives and any type of weapons that could be used in an attack. Also, there has been increased tensions within certain segments of our population, blaming one another for the attacks. Most importantly, the Muslim community of the United States has received some prejudice against them, holding them responsible for the attacks that happened in Washington, D.C. For this, in order to solve this problem, the Joint Terrorism Task Force intends to host media conferences and answer public questions and to write a communication plan in order to deal with what is currently going on and ease tensions. This media conference will include showing statistics and showing information into the investigation that will show that no segment of the population is solely responsible for the attacks. Only the perpetrators that planned and coordinated the attacks will be held accountable and held responsible. For right now, this is the recent update in the events of what is unfolding in our nation. I will update you further as the investigation unfolds. Thank you.